Hello everyone, thank you for sticking around. Welcome back to the Transgender Day of Visibility celebration on GDQ Hotfix. I'm Helix, and I am here with my co-host and co-organizer of this event, Quacksilver, who will be playing Rift of the Necrodancer. And really, I don't want to wait any longer to get into this, because I really want to see it, so Quack, take it away.
Well, with an intro like that. Okay, hi friends, it's me. You couldn't get rid of me that easily. We're also playing some video games, feeling exquisitely visible this Trans Day of Visibility showcase. I have 10 songs to attempt to impress upon you why you need to go out and play this game, Rift of the Necrodancer, the sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer, kind of. It's a straightforward rhythm game, so this is just going to be a showcase, highlighting some TGNC artists along the way as well. I am joined by the inimitable, the Valiant Son.
Hello! What's up, gamers? Happy time, son. I'm here to provide commentary when Quack needs to focus.
Which may be a little bit of this. So this is an impossible showcase, the highest of 4 difficulties. We have arranged the showcase to sort of piecemeal our way through some of the different mechanics of this game, but we're going to get into it, starting with Hef's Mess, Impossible 19. Let's kick it off in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Rift of the Necrodancer. It's a rhythm game where instead of notes, you're killing enemies from crypt. They come in many varietals.
The word varietals is so funny. Right now on the screen, the most interesting things for movement right now would be the zombies. The green zombies run back and forth, and the bats also move. Our slimes and our skeletons are kind of our basic enemies. We just kind of hit them unless there's something weird with the skeletons, but we'll call that out when those occur. And we also have harpies in this level, which, as you saw, they kind of move a little bit faster than the other ones.
Yeah, so Hef's Mess is a great introduction to many things about Impossible. Namely, a lot of BPMs on Impossible, as opposed to Hard, are doubled so that they can fit more notes per note at you. As well, just a lot of enemy density and variety.
So Hef's Mess, for example, I tallied this right before we started, has 8 different enemy types, not including the basic enemy types, which are your basic skeletons and your slimes. So we have the bats, which move in the direction that they are facing. We have the zombies that kind of move around as they go. The harpies that are moving on those, like basically every other beat. And that is all the enemies that are featured in this one. But yeah, going from the game starts you on medium difficulty as the default. The scaling from like medium to impossible is, some may say, impossible.
Inspirational.
There are several different composing teams attached to this game. You are listening to the Lo-Fi duo of Sam Webster and Nick Nausbaum, which this is unfortunately the only song of theirs that we will be hearing this showcase. So I'm gonna let the end set of this play. We'll talk a little bit more about the composing teams in a sec. Nice, okay. We've calibrated both our game and our nerves. There are 5 composing teams in this game. Sam Webster, Nick Nausbaum, Danny Baranowski, of course, who is behind Crypt. Jules Conroy, Family Jules, Josie Breckner and Alex Mukala. There are also some other crossover things that we'll be showing off a little bit later. But with this, we're going to get into Matriarch. It is our Jules Conroy shredding of the showcase. If you've got guitar emotes, now is the time to use them. And also, I'm asking a very important question. What if we subdivided a beat of music into 3? Enter the armadillo.
I love the armadillos. So the interesting change that happens between Hefts and Matriarch is they have the same actually enemy count, but we're replacing all the bats with these armadillos that do divide the beats into 3. The yellow armadillos are 3 hits on the beat. The blue armadillos are the first 2 hits of that, and the red are the infamous first and third hit, which is very fun. And I'm gonna
or swung eights if you're a nerd.
We also see red harpies here, which move twice as fast as the regular harpies, and are my least favorite enemy in this game.
Yeah, they can be brutal. Especially when paired with other harpies, which they do all the time. Something else that has not come up yet. You want to talk about the shadows?
Oh, yes. I was letting the rift go because I was like, the shred for that was like real good. So you can see underneath kind of these enemies, there's a circle little dot under most of them. And that's the fun part, right? Is that I just said most of them. If a monster has, for example, a diamond underneath them, that means that they are in the offbeat. And if they have that star pattern that you see on a couple of these, that means it's a secret third thing where it's not on beat or off beat. We're also seeing our first appearance of traps. These are shifters, and actually I believe potentially the only map we see shifters. All traps only affect enemies that are on the ground, so harpies and worms are not affected because they are flying. And so, Matriarch takes advantage a lot of our third beats and also putting a lot of things on the... somebody pointed out half-beat red harpies are straight evil, and I agree, actually.
They are. It can get worse, and will!
It will actually get worse. This is the second easiest chart that we are playing tonight. But what's really cool about this game, because I do see some people being like, I cannot keep up visually, there are tons of really cool accessibility options, as well as a practice mode that allows you to like restrict the window of the chart that you're looking at, and also change the speed up to 50% slower. So a lot of the time, you just gotta really sit with it.
Yes, and also, alright, we'll take the -1. We'll take the -1.
-1, let's go!
The difficulty gradations between easy, medium, hard, and impossible are all quite wide, so if you're looking at this and like, I could never, I promise there is a setting and level of this game that is good for you. Alex Mukala, a composer whose style in this game is best described as what if funky rave. This is a Mulgamaniac. And Mulgamaniac introduces us to both the fire trap, which will double the speed of enemies that walk over it, and also the main conceit of Impossible, in my opinion, which is get really comfy with 16th notes using the shielded skeletons.
So we briefly saw skeletons with shields in Hef's Mess, but this is the first time that we're going to see skeletons with 1 and 2 shields. As opposed to armadillos, where you're forcing 3 beats on the skeletons with the shields increase your number. So a 2 shield skeleton is like a hit, offbeat, and then another hit right after it. And that's kind of what we see here. So we're not dividing into thirds, we're just making some cool half-beat things happen. And we can see the fire traps make things go twice as fast. Which is also why it's nice that the flying enemies are not affected, because could you imagine those red harpies if they could get hit by fire traps? I would cry. Luckily there are no harpies on this map though. This actually only features skeletons, bats, and zombies.
Also, shout out to the shopkeeper vocal sample.
Yeah, there is also, if you've played Crypt of the Necrodancer and you're like, man, I really love when I can hear the shopkeeper singing. Apparently a lot of people decided they did as well, so there is an option to enable shopkeeper mode and it replaces all the sounds with the shopkeeper singing instead, and it's perfect and beautiful actually. Fun to note as well, like as we see these zombies, and it was seen in Matriarch as well, worms and other enemies do count as walls, so it does restrict the movement of the zombies, so sometimes you will see them jumping in place, even though they should be going back and forth, and that's because they would be interfering with another monster, which is like a fun little thing because totally this will not be changed later. The monsters can't overlap with each other. And that is definitely not changing later. Also of note, I mentioned slimes are basic enemies earlier, but we have 3 forms of slimes, which is the green slimes are 1 hit, the yellow slimes are 3, and the blue slimes are 2, and I did that out of order because that was the order they were on the screen at the moment I started talking.
I think that's an up score. We'll take it. We're locked in.
We're locked in.
Locked in. Holomaniac, one of the things that I... Oh yeah, that's definitely an up score. One of the things that I learned for this showcase... Alright, Candace, calm down. Cadence, wow. I did the bad thing. Cool. Moving on from Amalgamaniac, it's time to get into the section of the showcase that has a little bit of tech or new things to discuss, but are mostly just in here because the songs slap. This is Glass Cages by Josie Breckner featuring Sarah Hubbard. Josie Breckner is our resident TGNC composer on the team, and as a direct consequence of that, you can fight me about it, all the best songs in the game. Every single Josie Breckner track goes unfairly hard. And there's a great dev story about the swing in this was so nasty, it made them refactor how they, like, do hit detection in this game. An interview with Breckner and Danny Baranowski.
If I counted correctly, which I don't trust that I did, however, if I did, we actually have the most different monster types show up in this song compared to any other song in the showcase. So we have the introduction of the Blade Masters, and remember when I said red harpies are my least favorite? I lied. So Blade Masters will draw their sword and then will dash to the hit bar at the bottom a beat later. So it doesn't matter where they are. They could be really far away, they could be one thing away from hitting the end. They just kind of go. Otherwise, we also have our standard, our skeletons and our bats, our zombies and our harpies, which we've all seen. We will also, later, see another enemy type we have not seen before.
But in the meantime, violin solo.
Absolutely.
And right from there, we move into maybe my favorite charting of anything in this game.
Now we're talking.
This section just feels so good to play.
We had a question about the little lightning electric effect. So that is vibe power. It increases your score. I believe it doubles your multiplier. And what's like when you're learning, it means that you can't take damage when you have that active. And then once you start getting better, then it's like, oh well, I have to figure out where in the chart do I activate this, so that I can, get the most points out of that extra multiplier.
Yeah, and for this showcase, we have a mixture of, there is a spreadsheet in the Rift of the Necrodancer Discord, and the Brace Yourself Games Discord, that has optimal vibe strats for every single chart, except maybe the stuff that just recently came out. More on that later. However, this, because of the turnaround time, is a mix of that and vibes, pun intended. This would be the second half of our Only Here Because the Song Slaps. This is so many people's favorite track in the game, On by Alex Mukala. It is definitively the best non-Josie Breckner track. I'm just gonna shut up and let this one funk for a little bit.
On a roll. Wonderful. I'm on fire. All right.
Interrupting the funk a little bit. We do see for the first time these black zombies. Or not zombies, skeletons. So skeletons in general, we've been seeing them just like normal or holding shields. When they are yellow or black, then they behave differently. The yellow ones will be featured in our next track, but the black ones that we have seen, you have to hit them once to knock them back, a second time to knock off their head, and then the skeletons sprint away until they run into another monster, and then you hit them again. It will be much more obvious to kind of see that in Rift Within, which is coming up next, because we're a little cramped in Amanon in terms of being able to see things moving around on the screen.
At 2.2. That's not bad for me. I thought that opening vibe was strange. Okay, I was like, I know I missed something. So, my rhythm game experience is Guitar Hero as a child, and then several decades and a gender transition, and then this. I am not a acculturated rhythm game girly, but this has taken over my absolute life recently. If you're familiar with Guitar Hero as, from many, many generations of Guitar Hero, you may be familiar with just how devastating FC Overstrum is. A number of these have been FC Overstrums before the FC, and it's heartbreaking every time. This is Rift Within. It's either my favorite or second favorite song in the game. It's another Josie Breckner track. She put techno bagpipes in a song. You can't go wrong with that. Also, let's talk about portals.
3, 2, 1, move! Show off!
I forgot how silly portals are in this level.
My brain is not prepared to think of portals. You can't do this to me.
Rock on!
So yeah, portals can open up, and then there's a crack on the ground, so the monster will go through the portal and then appear wherever the crack is.
Awesome!
So you gotta kind of just be ready for that. We also have some shifters and some mystery traps here, which are just like a little bit rude, but we also have skulls. These were briefly in glass cages, but once you hit a skull, it explodes into skeletons, so it's like another 2-beat interaction. There's also Blade Masters that are blue in this case, which require 2 different hits. So they will get hit and then back off and then try to go again. Yeah, you can see the monsters are being pulled forwards with that portal combo.
I'm on fire! Crushing it! Now we're talking. All right! Right on!
The portals bug out the sound here, which I love.
Rock on!
Alright, we'll take another 2.2. That felt okay. That felt alright. I think my PB's like a 2.3.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Not quite the S+, but I am okay with that in a marathon performance. So fun fact, about 48 hours ago, they added some Celeste DLC to this game. Some tracks from the original soundtrack, a new arrangement of Resurrections by Len Rain, and a remix of Resurrections by Danny Baranowski. I mean, it's Trans Day of Visibility. We gotta, right? We simply gotta. Can I get some hey-yahs in the chat, please?
I would also like to shout out our finale run of the day, which is Celeste Voyage 100% by Terrarium.
Hell yeah. That's gonna be great.
I didn't
Yeah,
think...
you are not ready for Voyage.
No, you are not. I didn't think you had time to work this into your showcase. This is awesome.
The songs were released and then I did not hear from Quack for maybe about 4 hours. And then just dropped a screenshot of the like top score. It was very funny.
Awesome.
I will say, having to, like, faithfully recreate the delay on Lena's synths with these, like, slightly delayed enemies is brutal. The Resurrections chart scares me so much.
Yeah, somebody as well as like Battleline looks anxious. The fun thing is that there is actually a story mode to this game.
It's true.
And so you can play through all the songs sort of in a like predefined order. And there is like a little bit of a plot, and there's also I think one of the cutest credit sequences I think I've ever seen in a game. For like beating out the full story mode. But yeah, that is why our like characters on the side, your like allies will usually be a little bit stressed and then will be cheerful when you get a large combo, and then your like quote enemies are usually very smug until you get a high combo and then get really stressed as you continue to do well.
On a roll.
As with a little bit of a trend with the DLC tracks is like things do behave a little bit differently. So we do see like these red harpies. Usually you do not have enemies moving around each other, but you do see sometimes that these red harpies will come through and skip over monsters that are already coming towards you. Which is like a little bit stressful, but you know, Quack's got it figured out.
It's almost it.
Now we're talking. I'm on fire.
Alright, we'll take the -1. That really could have FC'd. I was like, oh no, is it? Thank you for this brief interlude to Hey Ya.
That song works really well in a rhythm game setting. I
Yeah,
didn't realize
no.
it was a sound.
It's so good, and using the portals like during the glitchy sections to like screw with your attention is immaculate. The charting for this game is incredible. Cryptic It's a remix of Cryptech from Crypt of the Necrodancer. How many times can I say crypt in one sentence? I hope you remember armadillos, because this is the armadillo final exam for today.
3, 2, 1, let's rock!
We've also finally gotten to tracks by Danny Baranowski in the Necrodancer game.
In the zone. All right.
So, like, you have armadillos starting on the second hit of other armadillos, just
It's
to
really
be
rude,
mean.
actually.
Right on.
Impressive.
I also like this chart because it's we've been doing a lot of other enemies, like high enemy density maps, but this chart actually is one of the lower end, so we're back to like the same number of enemies that our really early runs were doing, but it's still like a much higher difficulty because we've got, you know, things on offbeats and the secret third things, and just the total high density of them. We did also have a question about FC, which was answered in the chat, but verbally for y'all. An FC is a full clear. That means that not only did you hit every single enemy, but also it means that you did not overstrum, which essentially means, in addition to hitting every single note, Quack is also not hitting a note when there's not supposed to be a monster there. So it kind of works like Guitar Hero rules. So you can't just like spam every single button, you know. You can't just set up an auto clicker of your keys and then get it clear. So if you click when there's not something there.
Excellent.
And yeah, the dude in the restaurant uniform is in fact
That's how it's done.
the bad guy
The
from
Necrodancer himself.
the Necrodancer himself.
The Necrodancer from Rift of the Necrodancer. Yeah, the like AU setup in this game is absolutely magical. Wow, still got the S+. Alright, feeling good, feeling good. So as we come up on the final two songs of our showcase here, it has been nominally possible so far to play all of the charts with one hand. Some of them I've one-handed, some of them are just easier to have. The game by default on keyboard has two sets of inputs, arrow keys and WASD. With our Super Meat Boy DLC, free DLC, that will no longer be possible for reasons that are immediately apparent. Shoutouts to my poor friends who attempted to play this game on Guitar Hero controllers, only to discover that that input method would not work.
This is also our level 30 difficulty, which is the hardest level difficulty possible in the game at this point, I believe.
Yes.
And yes, 192 BPM. You did read that correctly.
Hope you like notes over sustains. As well as, yeah, 192 BPM 16ths.
That wasn't a triple shield skeleton, that was actually two double shield skeletons on top of each other, because they were both, you know, quirky little offbeat skeletons. Because it's fun.
Don't worry, there will be more.
Don't worry, there will be more.
In the zone.
You know, fast.
I just want to call attention that there's not a beat miss there.
Awesome.
It is 100% optional to activate Vibe there, but I don't trust it. The skill ceiling for this game is immense.
Yeah, because I guess we haven't had to really be concerned about it, but this one is one very much where we can only miss 10 monsters. You can eat food to replenish your health, but if you mess up more than 10 times without replenishing your health, then that's it. The game's over.
Oh my god!
No!
Okay, I was ready to pop off. Yeah, -3, literal last note. Alright.
No!
Performing in a marathon is the worst thing, actually. Oh, it's okay, we're gonna get it back on Baboosh, surely. This is Baboosh. It's my favorite song in the game. It goes unfairly hard. Josie Breckner is better than you at music, and Danny Baranowski can come along too, because he's also very good at this. This is Mystery Traps, the song. It teaches you a pattern and then says, okay, do it blind.
And this is the last song in our showcase.
One. Come
Yes,
on.
so time will be on the windscreen here.
Right on.
Now, what have you learned?
On a roll.
Something I learned today about Baboosh, because I decided to watch through all the things, is that despite being the level 30 and is the hardest song available in the base game, I believe,
Not
there
quite,
are only
but
yeah. I
up
think
there.
it slaps.
does.
It only features 5 enemy types, being beyond like our base thing. So it's just skeletons and skulls throughout this entire thing. So a lot of the difficulty comes in the BPM, as we said, and then also those mystery traps where you cannot see what is coming at you. Which means like these black and yellow skeletons, once you hit them, you have to know how many times you've hit them to bounce. You have to make sure if there's skulls that you know they're going to explode. If the mystery ones have shields, you need to know how many times you have to hit them.
That's power.
In the zone.
Excellent. That's how it's done.
Time.
Well, that was
And
one of the
that's
coolest
Rift
things
of the
I've ever seen.
Necrodancer. Yeah, that felt like it was gonna be something like that. That was Rift of the Necrodancer. Play this game. Play this game, support this game. Celeste DLC just dropped. In this announcement for the Celeste DLC, they teased Pizza Tower DLC coming TBA. More indie game partnerships besides, presumably. I found this game, I approached this game in the same way that I approached my transition. I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't have a cultural language for it, but it seemed cool and made me happy, so I did it. Jess, do you want to shout people out?
No, I think you got it. I'll be back tomorrow, though, as well. But thanks for letting me hang out and yap over the soundtrack.
Amazing, thank you, Jess. Yeah, I've been Quack. You can find me on the internet at Quacksilver Plays on Twitch, Quacksilver on Blue Sky. I'll be hosting this tomorrow. But more than anything, support trans people in your lives. Read Judith Butler and Julia Serrano, but also watch The People's Joker and Lily Alexander. And if you want to be fun at parties, read Mira Bellwether. There is so much wonderful trans art and trans creation out there in the world, and you owe it to yourself to know what it is and who is making it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Judging by my reaction and especially chat's reaction, I can confirm that was cool and it made a lot of people happy. That was great. And thank you, by the way, Quack, for just helping me out with this event in general. I could not have done this by myself. You have been such a huge help with, scheduling, hosting, and all that. So thank you very much for helping make this possible.
It's an honor and a privilege.
But with that, I'm still so stunned I barely even know how to do an outro. My brain cannot keep up with this game, by the way, so I do not understand how you do all that. That was awesome. So I'm just gonna say, stay tuned, because there are still 4 more runs coming up today, and we are moving into our horror block with Dementium 2 HD by Astra the Horror Girl coming up next. So stick around for that and for the rest of the day. And of course, there's lots of fun stuff going on tomorrow too! ! Trans visibility in the chat. Check out the schedule while we're taking a quick break. We will be right back.